G'day, well, welcome back. Got another episode of TOGL for you. Today I've got to get some olive trees planted. We've got a dozen olive trees. That'll be the first food plants that we've actually purchased and going to plant here. So that'll be good. Plus I need to get them fenced off so that the possums and the wallabies and that don't eat them. Probably more so the wallabies at the moment. I'm going to stay up here tonight as long as this weather holds. The weather's turned pretty bad the last couple of days actually. It's been very wet. It's blowing a gale. I'm not sure if you can hear that in the treetops. It's a little bit more sheltered where I'm standing right now. We've had some fine hail. It's been sleeting, so it's really got cold, hence the change of clobber. So hopefully the wind will die off later on this evening, so it's not too uncomfortable for me up here. I do stay up here fairly regularly, but I thought I might actually go and do a little bit of spotlighting, and I'll see if I can show you some of the wildlife that's running around. You've seen some of it earlier on with the game trail camera, but we'll see what I can actually film myself. So let's get on to it. We've got a few things to get done today. I hope you enjoy this episode. Well, those wasps are still looking pretty active, so I don't know whether the apple juice and borax isn't doing the job, or whether maybe I had the mixtures wrong and it was enough to warn them off it so they didn't touch it. I've got the bottle sitting right here. That's the bottle with the apple juice and borax in it, so I might need to go back and reread the measurements. But yeah, there's still plenty of wasps flying in and out there. I might also try one of the other things. As I said earlier, they are carnivores. They will tuck into some meat. So I might get some little strips of meat, dust them lightly with a bit of borax, and I'll see if that works. I'd like to find something that can kill the nest without me actually touching the nest, because then I know I can set those traps up everywhere and kill the nests that I can't find. So number one priority is to see if I can kill the nest without actually touching it. If nothing works, I'm just going to come up here with one of those bug bombs and I'm just going to give it a good squirt and kill this nest. At least that'll be one of them gone. One of our waterfalls flowing a bit better after that rain we've had the last few days. And that same waterfall from a slightly different angle. Okay, so to protect the olives, what I've done is I've cut these lengths of wire. They're 10 squares long, and I'll be able to make a tube out of them. What I have to do though is where these ends come apart, so I trimmed it at 10 squares long, but I left these half a square where I cut through, so that would have been one square. That way I'm going to be able to put this together and then tie these ends together, and that will make the tube that I can then put over the top of each of the olive trees. And we went with the olive trees. We thought they were an important tree to have on the block. I like olives, so that's a bonus, but also for the oil. And it can take a long time. It can take anywhere from 7 years onwards from having your tree to when you start getting enough olives that you can start to actually harvest them. So we needed to get them in early. And it's going to be several years before we're actually going to have our own olives to eat. But that was another reason to get them in straight away, was because we've got that time to wait. So we'll have a few other crops that we'll use for oil. Oil is obviously something that's fairly important on the block for cooking and eating and whatnot. So yeah, olive trees it is. So I'll get all these made up. It's probably going to take me an hour and a half, 2 hours I guess, to wire all these together. And then I've already marked out where the trees will go. I'm actually going to use the tractor and the post hole digger. They're only little seedlings, but I figure if I use the post hole digger, it saves me picking up a shovel, but it also aerates all of that soil in an area like that, that the tree will be able to spread its roots right through nice and fast and get very well established. So a little bit of laziness, and I think it will work well anyway. So anyway, best I get on with getting these wrapped up. Well, it's the end of the day and we're starting to lose light really fast. The weather's eased up a bit, that wind's dropped off very nicely actually. It's quite still, which is very nice. I'm just getting a fire going. I've got some snags there I'm going to chuck on the grill and cook up some snags. I'll just have sausage and bread for dinner tonight, I think. Something nice and simple. Maybe a beer or two, and then get some sleep. Got another big day tomorrow. So today we've got all that wire done, all those wire baskets done to go around the trees. I've got it marked out ready. Tomorrow morning I'll dig the holes for the trees and we'll get the trees planted. Also fixed up the irrigation system again this morning, so hopefully that's the last time I need to do that. So I got that done as well, along with a quick walk down to the creek. So yeah, got a fair bit of stuff done. Anyway, I'll see how I go with this fire and get these sausages going. I'll talk to you soon. Morning. Well, it's shaping up to be a beautiful day up here this morning. Looking absolutely gorgeous. It was a bit of a cool one last night, but I was rugged up in the tent there in my doona and sleeping bag, so I was fine. Didn't want to get out of bed this morning actually. It was nice and warm. Anyway, I'm just going to chuck the billy on, make myself a cup of coffee, have a quick bit of breakfast, and then get on with the day. Hopefully you've just seen a little bit of footage from last night. Possums, little Bennett's wallabies. I did even see a bandicoot, although I didn't manage to get him on film. I think I would have seen a dozen possums. I probably saw 1,000 of the wallabies. They're everywhere. I'm just not sure how the GoPro managed to film last night. So if you've seen that footage, great, it worked. If you didn't see any night footage, well, I'm guessing it didn't work. Apologies for that. I'll see what I can do next time. Anyway, I'm fanging for a cuppa. I'll go and chuck this billy on. Okay, I was getting pretty windy up here again, but you know what, that's a good thing for where these olives are going to be planted, because olive trees, they don't get pollinated by bees. A good friend of mine told me that they get pollinated by the wind. He should know, his dad was an olive farmer. So the wind blows from directly in my face back this way. That's why I've chosen this top spot to put these olive trees down. So we've got 3 species, we've got 4 of each of the 3 species. So what I've done is I've run them in like a dog leg. So I've put 1, 2, 3 and then a cross for one species. Then I've come back up to the front line, I've come across, and again I've gone 1, 2, 3, 4 like that, so that as the wind blows through it should be pollinating each of the species that it needs to. There'll be a bit of swirl around and that sort of thing. There might even be some cross pollination. I'm not sure how that works, but this should give it the best chance of getting pollinated and getting a good crop in a few years time once it does start to fruit. So you saw me drop those trees into those holes. What I'm going to do is go around to each one now, and I'll show you with one of the holes. I'll take that tree out, I'm going to push all the soil back in, get it level, then I'll scoop out a bit, I'll put the tree in, pack it back up, and then I'll put the mesh around it, and I've got a bit of straw here. I'll use a bit of that as like a mulch around the top as well, and I've got to do that to all 12. So I'll show you doing one of those, and I think that'll be enough of that. Then I'll get on with something else later on. So that's what I'm going to do to all of the 12. Once I've done all that, then I'll go around and give them all a good water. And as that soil settles down, those pegs that I just pushed in will obviously hold in a little bit harder, because they're not really holding in at the moment. I've turned all that soil up really loose. But I think that should hold, and we'll see how we go. Fingers crossed, maybe in 6 or 7 years I can show you on the TOGL channel how I'm harvesting and preserving the olives. We'll see. Okay, well, back up on the block again today. Very interesting afternoon yesterday afternoon. So after I got done planting those olive trees, I came up here to give the cows some feed and realised Hamish was missing. I then found him over in the neighbour's paddock over there with all of the cows. So let me just show you what's been happening. So that's all of the neighbours' cows. And that's where Hamish got into. Now, I'll take a quick walk up here and I'll show you. So this top wire, it's electrified. This one right here, that's electrified. So we've electrified, barbed wire, and then the mesh. You'd think that would have been enough to stop him. Yep, there he is, good. He's still in the paddock this morning. So anyway, I rung up Glenn next door. He was kind enough to send his foreman and his wife down. They rounded up Hamish and they got him back into the paddock for me. Then I had to race off to the co-op and go and buy more stuff for electric fence. And what I need to do is I need to run another 2 runs of electric wire on this fence. One at about hip height, one at about knee height, and they'll be offset on the side of this fence. But have a look at this. He's absolutely just mangled this fence here. I hope that shows up on the camera. Just destroyed it. There's the evidence. You can't deny it was him. Got all that hair on the wire, but just mangled this fence. He's actually broken this off. So broken that clip off there. I'll need to fix that up. But yeah, just mangled, and right the way along. It's mangled right the way along. So he's obviously testing through, and then he managed to push through. So yeah, that was my afternoon yesterday. Now I only managed to get about a quarter of it done. So I'm back up here today, and I'm going to have to keep working to get all this wire on and stop him getting through there again. I'm glad he's still in here today. The weather's turned pretty poor, as you can see. I was actually surprised yesterday when I was up here. I could see the mountain ranges out on the horizon. They were covered in snow yesterday, so that was pretty cool, literally. So yeah, the weather is definitely turning more winter-like, and you can see out here now it's starting to look very bleak and very gloomy. So I've got to try and get this wire on before the weather turns real nasty. And just one other thing too, before I get started for the day, I just want to give another shout out to my daughter Jess. Now, she's been doing a graphic design course, and as you know, she updated the logo that I use on the start of the videos, tweaked that up, made it look really nice and really fresh. But they've been experimenting in a lot of different media types, as well as electronic media and other things. Anyway, check this out. She made me a shirt, TOGL shirt. So that's a screen print. So she cut out the design, and then you know how screen print gets done, and screen printed me a shirt. So proudly wearing that today as well. So thank you, Jess. Great work on that. I now have a TOGL shirt. Anyway, I'll just quickly show you actually. So these are the offsets. So I've got to put these in. They hammer in onto the timber posts. And then on the wire posts up here, sorry, on the star pickets, we get these other offsets like this, and they just screw on. So just bolt them on here. And then that's going to hold that wire out away from the fence. So I said one here at about hip height. I'll put one down here at about knee height. If Hamish touches that, he's going to bloody well know about it. And I hope he gets a few good zaps too, because he deserves it. Let's get into it. Well, the electric fence is in. That's pretty much taken me 2 days to do 2 runs of wire over a 330 meter long fence. There is a gate right in the middle of that, so essentially it turns into 4 wires that I needed to run. Probably a big part of that is the fact that I didn't have one of the spool, whatever you would call them, a spooler that you put the roll of wire onto to then unravel it off. Makes things a lot easier, kind of like unraveling your garden hose off one of those wind up things. I didn't have one of them, so basically it was on the ground. It kept getting tangled. I had to walk a bit out, come back, walk a bit more out. Pain in the backside. Anyway, I will get myself one of those eventually, but it was kind of a case of I needed this done, and I needed it done now to stop Hamish, so I just battled on through. A bit wet this morning. Keep getting a few rain showers coming through, but I got the old waterproof jacket on, so that's all right. But yeah, so if you look over here, you'll see on that post right there, the 2 orange pegs. They're the offsets that I showed you earlier. And so I got that double run, goes right up, over the hill, keeps going for another 300 meters that way. So thankfully that job's done now. The next thing I need to do is go and start picking some pepper berries. There's a lady in Sheffield that wants to buy some from me, a couple of kilos worth. So I got plenty here on the block. I saw the ad, I thought, well, I may as well get stuck into some of that. So I'm going to spend the afternoon picking some pepper berries, and then I'll get them dried out and I'll take them up to her. So that'll be handy. Probably help pay for some of the wire I've just had to spend the money on. Anyway, I won't bore you with that. I'll get onto that, and the next interesting thing I'll show you, I might find some of that bush tucker. We'll see. So here's another one of those bush tucker plants that I said that were on the property. This is one I actually didn't realize that we had. It's called a purple appleberry. It's right behind me here. Check out all that fruit. So they grow on a vine that creeps up the other trees. So they're kind of scattered all down through here. If we just have a look at one, they do taste a little bit like apple. That one's a bad one. Let's find another one. There we go. Now, they look nice and juicy, but they're quite hollow. They're like a bit of a pillow. If I break it open, you can see that it's all full of all these seeds. But the flesh does taste a bit like an apple. So, but there's not a lot to them. I thought it would be a nice fleshy fruit, nice and juicy, but no, it's quite dry. But I guess you could survive on it if you needed to. Well, that brings us to the end of another episode. Thanks very much for watching again. I really do appreciate all of the viewers and the comments that are left, the positive feedback. It does mean a lot, and I'm glad that you are getting enjoyment out of it. So long as everyone's still finding it enjoyable, I'll keep on making these videos. So yeah, thank you very much, and have a great weekend everyone, and I'll look forward to bringing you another video next week. Have a great one and stay safe.